Kumbaya, my lord. This isn't just kumbaya talk. Purpose drives impact. Looking to empower up your day? Tune in to Evolve Together with Empower People on ESPN Richmond, powered by MikeKingBiz. Join me, host and Empower People founder Tiffany Joy Greene, MBA, as I bring dynamic leaders, change makers, and entrepreneurs to share their journeys, challenges, and successes while driving their purpose to drive positive impact and empower people. Empower People is an organization that provides education, connection, and support to mission and purpose-driven leaders to drive positive impact and empower people. Catch us every Tuesday at 5 a.m. on ESPN Richmond and join Empower People today. What are you waiting for? We even have a free membership. That's right, free. Visit www.empowerpeople.org. That is MPWRPeople.org. You can also visit us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Evolve together.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike. This is the MikeKingBiz, Tiffany Greene. She is the Princess of Purpose.
Hello, I am Ayana McMullen, founder of the Karlton Incubator. And I want
This isn't just kumbaya talk. Purpose drives impact. Looking to empower up your day? Listening to Evolve Together with Empower People on ESPN Richmond, powered by MikeKingBiz. Join me, host and Empower People founder Tiffany Joy Greene, MBA, as I bring dynamic leaders, change makers, and entrepreneurs to share their journeys, challenges, and successes while driving their purpose to drive positive impact and empower people. Empower People is an organization that provides education, connection, and support to mission and purpose-driven leaders to drive positive impact. Catch us every Tuesday at 5 a.m. on ESPN Richmond and Empower People today. What are you waiting for? You can have a free membership. That's right. This is www.people.org. LinkedIn, Facebook, and
Ladies and gentlemen,
all together,
ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Tiffany Greene.
Who sang that intro?
I know, but the person had they were singing, it was angelic. Mike King, Tiffany Greene, she is the Princess of Purpose. We're here with the Empower Hour. Welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you, Mike. We have a special guest with us today.
Because you know the cool people who are out there. And who do you have today, ma'am?
We have Karlton Hoskins here, and he's with us from Texas. He's not even from Virginia. Can you believe it? We got a Texan in the house.
And purpose is worldwide, and you find the champions all over the place. Karlton, welcome to the program, sir.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me. Thank you, Tiffany. Glad to be here in the Empower Hour.
All right, Karlton, tell us who you are and what you do.
Oh, I'm an entrepreneur, business owner. I help business owners build the sustainability of their companies. I'm also an international best-selling business author. And my purpose and passion is helping small businesses achieve the goal of success.
Really quickly, before Tiffany takes over, what do you see lacking in business leaders, owners today in the ecosystem?
I'm going to say purpose at the end of the day. Many of them are driven by the financials that they see that they can acquire versus going to a 9-to-5, and they believe someone has whispered in their ear that it's easy. Hey, it's easy. You know, you can work for yourself, wake up when you want to, go to bed when you want to. And they don't realize the amount of commitment and dedication that is required to achieve that goal. So their purpose is money. Their purpose is not solving a problem that the industry needs a solution for.
On the mic, Mike, this is the Empower Hour, Tiffany Greene. You always have nuggets of knowledge when you bring on the best guests. What do you have for us today, ma'am?
So many, but I think by Karlton's response, you can see why we are really close partners and why he's on the show. I mean, did he tee it up well, Mike? I think he did, because we were always talking about purpose on the purpose.
Well, wait a second, Tiffany Greene. You are.
I am
the Princess of Purpose. That is right.
And
So, Tiffany, where did you see or connect with Karlton? Because you have the radar for people who are purpose-driven out across the world.
Well, Karlton and I met quite a while ago now on social media. We were in a group. I can't remember what the question was anymore, Karlton. I think I posted the question now. I don't even remember what it was now in the group. And Karlton responded and we're like, we need to talk. Right, Karlton?
That's right. That's
and
right.
we never stopped. We never stopped talking
Yeah,
and collaborating. Want to chime in, Karlton? What was your experience with that?
No, I think you hit it right on the head. We met on, I think it was Facebook or social media, one of the platforms, and you proposed a question on a business. And I get now that you were fishing to see if anyone knew the correct answer versus actually searching for the solution. And there were several responses to it. And I think I just came across with something very simple. And it led to a DM, which led to a phone call. And I think since that day, we speak at least once a week, every Friday. We have a 2-hour meeting, normally goes 3 hours, but we normally have a 2-hour meeting of some sort to discuss purpose, business, keeping people in line with achieving their goals. So
that is pretty accurate. Now you gave a secret away. Don't tell people I'm fishing. No, they're not going to respond.
That's right, Mike.
Exactly.
Fishing pole in the water.
Looking for people who are doing. Karlton, what was your journey to purposeful business?
My journey to purposeful business began back in 2014. Now, mind you, I've been in business for a very long time, ever since a teenager. My mom would tell you I was an entrepreneur since I can walk. We just had this conversation. But around 2014, I was working with a company that focused on providing business owners with funding. And in that process of building out their sales team and growing their company, I came to the realization that the owner of the company really didn't care about the people that he was loaning to or providing loans to. His only focus was the money, how much money they would generate. So when there were calls that came into the sales team in regards to somebody who borrowed money who was unable to pay it back, rather than provide a solution, the CEO's response to that was, "That's not our business. Get off the phone. Don't talk about that. Leave that alone. That's not your problem." And that kind of turned me and my partner a certain way, gave us a different look behind the curtain, if you will. And once we kind of realized that, we thought we need to solve this problem. And even today, there are probably 90% of the companies out there that are pushing funding on businesses. They're pushing them on business based on credit and their ability to pay it back. They have no idea what their company's structured. They don't know if they have a good team. They don't know if they have a sustainable business. They don't know if they have the capabilities of paying it back, and they don't care. They just want the money. They want the residual revenue. And so therefore, the purpose of the business is left aside. And when you don't have purpose, then you don't have direction. If you don't have direction, you can't get from point A to point B. You tend to crash somewhere in between those 2 points. And so that is why the death rate of small businesses is as high as it is in this country. And so we want to resolve that problem. And that's when I became purpose driven. I threw 20,000+ hours into researching the problems and the pains of small businesses, wrote a book, became an international best-selling book, but was involved in understanding the micro steps involved in the business, the things that most business owners overlook in their journey toward a successful business. And then you find out as you start talking and laying out this information that they don't want to hear that either. They don't want to know that there are these steps. And I'm not saying all businesses, so I have to make sure I say that. Many business owners don't care about those steps. Just like the lender, they just want to get to the money. They just want to sell something to make money to replace their job. And they think they're going to have more time with their family in that. And if they don't have a path and they don't have a direction and they don't know where they're going, they're not going to have more time with their family. They're going to have less time with their family. They're going to have less money and they're going to have more headaches. How they say more money, more problems. That's why, because there's no path. It's just a grab for the money. And hence I always refer to the lottery. And we talk about how in 3 years, 90% of lottery winners are broke. Well, that's why, right? There's no path. There was no direction. It was just a lump sum of quick cash. And that's what business owners are seeking. This instant fame, Mercedes in the apartment, you get it.
There you go, Karlton Hoskins dropping nuggets of knowledge, as well as that philosopher B.I.G. is up there. More money, more problems. Like you said, a lot of times people do think that having money alleviates a lot of problems. Like I learned from Tiffany Greene, always said nonprofits scare people because they're begging for money. And Tiffany Greene schooled me and said, what, ma'am?
Everybody's begging for money.
Everybody. It's what you do it at the end.
That's right.
Everybody's out asking.
Everybody's asking for $1. But Karlton really teed us up well, because the reason why he's on the show today, or at least part of the reason why he's on the show today, is because we have an upcoming course on Thursday about, you're going to love the title, Purpose of the Business Plan. What is the purpose of the business plan? Everybody talks about business plans, and we all know, Karlton alluded to it, a business plan is a document to get capital. Isn't that why we do it? And Karlton's going to say, nah, there's a lot more to business planning than just trying to get capital. Karlton, tell us, allude, share your philosophy.
Well, I've read many articles, especially coming out of very high syndicated magazines, without naming anyone, where they have these experts that come in and say business plans are for beginners. There's no need for a business plan. Why do you have a business plan? Well, I would pause and say, okay, you go to Wall Street and say you want to take your stock public and you want to put it on the exchange. Well, one of the things you're going to have to provide is a plan, a business plan, and it's going to be very detailed. It will probably exceed 100 pages. And people say, well, how much stuff can you put in a business plan? Think about a business plan like your daily operational guide. Again, it's a guide. Your business plan is your Google Maps. If you want to go somewhere, you look at Google Maps. If Mike came to Texas right now and wanted to meet up and go get a coffee, we picked the place, he would plug in the destination on where he wanted to go. And it would guide him on those steps. It'd tell him what streets to turn on. Well, your business plan does the same thing. It needs to guide you through the steps, guide you through the path, tell you where to turn, where not to turn, give you back data. So most people have a business plan and it looks like, well, I'm just going to do quick. It's a book on the shelf, right? And they go, oh, I wrote that 5 years ago, 6 years ago when I had the idea. And I go, okay, well, what have you updated? Well, nothing. But every day things change. Every day information changes. Your decisions change. The way you operate changes. The way you function in your team changes. Your pricing may change. The market conditions change. Everything changes. If you wrote your business plan today instead of 5 years ago, you would have different details in there. So a business plan is actually a living, breathing document. It has to grow with the business. On every Friday, that should be updated, just like a diary. It needs to constantly be updated so that, God forbid, something happens and a plane falls on Karlton's head, the next person in the company can pick it up and go, I know exactly which way to go and how to get there. Versus, well, I don't know what he was doing. Let me go talk to 30 team members and see if we can figure it out. And business owners aren't thinking that way. Again, because their vision is short. They have this short vision. They're trying to get, imagine playing football like a coach. You want to get 10 yards at a time. They're just trying to get to the end zone. These business owners just want to get to the end zone. So they say, here's this one play that'll get me to the end zone. And that's their business plan. But there's not enough information in there to guide them. They have nothing to stand on. There's no foundation to that type of planning. Are quick plans good plans? Yes, sure. Ideation stage, you're coming up with the idea, you want a one-page plan. You don't need details. But as you persist through the process and you grow, you want to continually add information in here, the data that you find out about your ideal target customer. They may change along the process. What you thought was your Tam Sam Sam isn't your Tam Sam Sam anymore because AI just came in and interrupted your market. Now who are you talking to? And these details, these micro steps from your daily from what you do in the morning to what you do at night should be in your business plan. And most business plans don't have anything near that.
Karlton, how can people get information out there about you?
Oh, they can go on LinkedIn and pull me up. They'll probably find more information than they need to know. And they can also go to KarltonHoskins.com.
Okay, Tiffany and Karlton as well. So, Karlton, you run across a business that has not really been purpose-driven. How do you start incorporating that into the new ecosystem. Tiffany, jumping on that one as well.
I apologize, but I was just reading a message on our Facebook Live as you asked me the question. So could you please repeat the question?
The question is, how do we put purpose into an organization that hadn't operated like that in the past? But now we're going to infuse it in. How do we start taking steps so that purpose becomes a part of our everyday operating system?
So one of the things, and I think Karlton's definitely going to agree with me, something about all the conversations we have had, it seems to me pointing in the direction that we're going to be in alignment here, which is to really hone in on purpose starts with the leader, the founder, the owner. So when I'm working with a startup, right? When I have worked with a startup, I always start with success planning. And success planning, ironically, is what does success look like for you, not for the business? Because that's where purpose alignment starts from, which is what is your purpose? Why are you doing this, right? If it's just to make money, that's not a purpose. That's an outcome, right? Profit is an outcome. It's not the point. What are you ultimately trying to achieve? What is the goal? What is the result, right? And so we got to really evaluate what that is. You can do that if you've been in business 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Although I would argue to make it 20 years and beyond without a clear purpose, I'm sure it's happened, but it's more likely a fluke than the rule, right? Because as Karlton's going to attest to too, is how many business owners will come to you and say, I never had a business plan and I've been in business 20 years. Good for you. But when we play the law of odds and averages, where do you want to fall, right? Do you want to have the odds in your favor or against you? So if you're going in business, for example, I actually heard somebody say this today. I'm going into business. I'm starting my business because I'm going to be my own boss. I am so sick and tired of people telling me what to do. Is that purpose? That's not
No.
purpose. That's not purpose. That's actually avoidance and actually operating out of a fear and scarcity mindset. That's a completely different beast, right? So that person is set up to fail because what do all business owners know when you start your business? Do you have a boss?
It's the customer.
That's the customer. Whoever you're serving and all the people in your organization, guess what? You got lots of bosses. Forget one boss now. If you're growing that baby, you might have hundreds of bosses. You might have thousands of bosses. The world. Would you want to be Jeff Bezos? How many people is he talking to on every day? You know, I mean, so with great comes great success, comes great responsibility, right? So you're not your own. That's a misnomer, right? It's folklore. It's folklore. So purpose. If you don't have purpose and you go into that business going, I want to be my own boss, what's going to be your North Star? What's going to be that lighthouse that guides you through the times when everybody's complaining at you, not happy? Because no matter how great things are, no matter how great any organization is, there's going to be rough patches because that's life. I don't know anybody who's gone through life without a little bit of a roller coaster ride. We try to mitigate that. We don't want one of those crazy roller coaster rides. It's a nice little one, maybe a kiddie ride. But what's the North Star? That's purpose. That's purpose for the leader. That's purpose for the owner. That's the North Star. And if you don't have that, how do you communicate it to your employees? How do you communicate that with your clients? When you are having that time of pivot, when you're having that time of change, how do you get everyone bought in to not only survive that time, to pivot, but to thrive? If you don't have it, like I said time and time again, who wakes up in the morning? If you don't know what your purpose is, I want to know, I say this all the time, I'm going to say it every time until people really let it sink in. Who here has woken up in the morning and got so jazzed, they put their feet on the ground as soon as they got out of the bed and they said, I am so excited to make my boss more money?
No one.
Again, if you're out there, no judgment. But I haven't met that person yet. What keeps a business successful is purpose. That's the guiding light. That's the shining star. And that's not just for nonprofits. That's for profits. So that business plan that Karlton's talking about, if you don't have the North Star built into your business plan, it's nothing. Financials, I don't wake up excited about my cash flow. I know it needs to happen. I know it's required to have a healthy cash flow for my business, right? But it's not what wakes me up in the morning. Again, I apologize for all bookkeepers and CPAs if that's something that truly excites you. But for most people, that is not the guiding light and the shining star, right? And for those business owners who don't have purpose, what ends up happening is we just tie every year what we get a new sales plan. We get a new revenue goal. Wow, that's exciting, because what's that telling me as an employee? What's that telling the whole company? I'm here to make you money. Got it, loud and clear. Now, there's nothing wrong with making money, but it's not the motivator. We all want to be a bit part of something bigger. And that business plan, this is where the business plan lays out the plan to carry out the purpose. Because you can't ignore cash flow, because if you don't have cash flow, purpose is done too. It all ties together, but it's important that purpose, everything is rooted in the purpose. So KPIs should be rooted in purpose. SMART goals, rooted in purpose. Karlton, I could go on and you know that, so feel free to elaborate.
Well, I like to just kind of double down on Mike's question. He said, how do you begin to infuse that into existing companies that do not currently have purpose? So first of all, we have to let's look at the market. In the United States, there's 32.5 million businesses. There's approximately 4 million businesses starting every year. And of these businesses, 84.6% of businesses generate less than $250,000 in gross annual revenue. Well, if we want to talk about purpose, I think we can really just shine a light on an 84.6% that's generating less than $250,000 a year. Why are they small? Why do they have less than 10 employees? Why do the majority of them have less than 3 employees? Why are they stuck in this ditch? And to the point is, as Mike was asking, is because they do not have purpose. Again, they're just focused on money. They're focused on revenue. So how do you begin infusing that into business owners? And I think Tiffany does a really great job of this when she's working with clients, because she's done this with me. Because sometimes, even as a business owner, you think your purpose is on point, you think your purpose is on tack, and you may have it, maybe a word is off, but that one word makes the difference in what you're really focused on. And so going back to the owner of that and the leadership team of that company and saying, okay, wait, why are we here? Why are you making socks? Well, I'm making socks because the cost of socks in China are lower and I want to beat the market. Like, but what's the goal of that? What's the purpose of that? Like, you have to keep going back. You have to keep digging deeper. Russell Brunson said once, if you can't find an answer to a question, keep asking follow-up questions 6 in a row. When you get to 7, you're going to land on what your answer is, and it's going to give you the truth. When you go past that mark, you're going to end up kind of fluffing the information. You're going to reiterate what you said at 7. So once you get to that purpose point, then it gives you that idea of what makes me different. Why am I here? Why do I do what I do? Will I get up and do this in the morning, even if I wasn't making revenue? Now, most people would say, well, I wouldn't do that if I wasn't making revenue. Well, then is it your purpose? Is it your purpose? It's your purpose for generating revenue, but is it your purpose? And I guess that's what we see with competition in businesses, or what people call competitors with scarcity mindset is, oh, there's 100 people doing what I do. I think about Shopify stores and e-commerce, and I'm not hating on anyone, but if you're just buying a product off of Alibaba and drop shipping it to somebody in the United States, and you're making a 10% markup, then your purpose has nothing to do with the customer. Typically, your purpose has to do with the result that the customer receives, that you're providing something to. If your purpose is, think of a pastor in church, I want people to feel better, I want people to do this thing, then that's the purpose. That's why I do what I do, right? If my purpose is to help children get through autism situations, Well, then that's my purpose. The paycheck is the byproduct of what I'm doing. And I like Tiffany brought up Jeff Bezos. We have to think back about Amazon in 2000 through 2004 when it was losing billions of dollars every year. There was no profit in there, but he was figuring out the purpose of the business. And once he got that purpose on track, well, we all know the story now. Who is Amazon, right? They've beat Walmart out. They are the top retailer in the world. Now, maybe you say, well, retailers don't have a purpose. Sure, they have a purpose. When you go to certain stores, it's for petite people, or it's for bridal, or it's for people that's overweight, or it's big and tall, or it's whatever. But I want to clothe that person. I want them to look good. Oh, well, then that's my purpose. And typically your purpose will be found in the mission. And the vision. The vision is what it looks like at the end. The mission is how you're going to get there. So you have to think about that mission and that vision. And if you hear the mission and vision, if that doesn't scream the purpose to you, then that tells you that the person who put that together, and I love AI, so I'm not hating on AI, probably just threw some idea into AI and it spit out, here's your mission, here's your vision, run with those, it sounds good, versus it does not align with my purpose. So that's to your question, Mike.
I love that. And so go back to, and let me clarify too, because I think when you start talking purpose, you all go talk purpose, and I'm going to talk a long time about it. And I think what happens for most entrepreneurs, there's a couple things I'm going to bring out that you said too, Karlton. But before I do that, with a lot of entrepreneurs, I think most entrepreneurs have a clear purpose when they first start out. I actually think there's a lot of them, not all of them, but I think a lot of them do. But once that business is operational and they start getting into it, we use the expression, most of us, they get lost in the weeds. The purpose gets lost. When the purpose gets lost, what happens? The business faces problems.
Absolutely.
And burnout emerges, right? That's why that purpose. So sometimes if you've been in business for a while and you're going, what the heck is my purpose again? You got to take time every day. I'm not saying hours, but you got to take time every day to go, this is the purpose, and are we aligned with it? If you do not keep that as part of your daily objective, you will lose purpose. If you have lost purpose, you have to do the work that a startup does, which is, what does success planning look like for me, right? What is the purpose? You cannot develop a company, a long company, unless you're planning on selling it immediately, that is not aligned with your own purpose. If you think it, well, then I was, now that happens. Now that might be a goal. You might be starting up something to plan a quick flip. That's a different thing. But for most businesses, you got to do the hard work of evaluating yourself and your purpose to know what the purpose of the business is, so it's aligned. Because you're always going to be pushing that boulder uphill both ways in a snowstorm if the purpose is not aligned, right? But one of the things you said too, Karlton, that I love, which you were alluding to those folks who were buying a product and then selling it with a 10% margin on Shopify. I think when we talk about folks who are starting a business, and let me rephrase this. I'm going to ask you this as a question because now I feel like I'll be leading.
Okay.
Do you sense from working with a variety of clients in your career and different business owners that they confuse running a business or equating running a business as being a salesperson? That they're one and the same? Because how many times, I've actually encountered that, where I have encountered, because salespeople that I have encountered, and I want you to elaborate. I just want to tell you frame of reference.
Sure.
Salespeople that I have actually worked with, because they have managed their own book of business. Mm-hmm. For the people who will hear this on radio, I was just doing air quotes. That automatically translates. Well, I can do that all on my own because I'm managing my own book of business. There's no difference between doing that and running a business. I've encountered that many times.
In that example, yes, that's true. Many we get caught in the we have all kind of terms for this. But yeah, when a business owner believes that they are, my mom would say in her own Jamaican accent, cook, cleaner, and bottle washer. Right? So you think about running a restaurant. There's a difference between Starbucks, and I use this all the time, especially when I'm talking with Tiffany. There's a difference between Starbucks and the mom and pop coffee shop right across the street. There's a reason why the owner of Starbucks is not in Starbucks, and the owner of the mom and pop coffee shop is there from 4 a.m. to 6 p.m, right? And one is that person believes that they can do all things in their business. They are capable of, and let's think about this for a second, without going down the pillars of a business. Let's just think about the CEO, the CFO, the COO, the chief marketing officer, the chief risk officers, your investment officers, your marketing strategists, your branding. Oh my gosh, Tiffany, let's not get into that. Your branding, your bookkeeper, your accounts receivables, your accounts payable. No one person, not Mark Cuban, not anyone on the planet, can run all those things in their business and grow their business. I'm not saying you can't do it. There's landscapers out here that'll come and cut your grass for 45, 50 bucks a cut, and that's just them. But if they don't feel well tomorrow, they're not cutting grass. They're not going to work, which means they don't make any revenue. Does that mean they have a business? No. No, there's a difference between owning a business and being self-employed. And this is where the government has moved into this term of gig workers, right? Because you're just working on contract. You're just doing a thing for money. That's not your purpose. And because of that, again, I want to allude back to that 84.6% of businesses that are generating less than $250,000 a year, because those businesses are not aligned on their purpose. They're not capable of growing out of that without someone infusing purpose into them, because they will stay small business. So you have 28.7 million small businesses running around doing these little things, and then you have the percentage of businesses that are large. What's the difference between those businesses? I know their company. I know their name. If I say a company like Nestle, you know exactly who that company is, right? You don't have to ask who that is. If I told you another company that was a small mom and pop like Icebreakers, you'd be like, what? What is that? Right? You'd have no clue. And the difference is one understands their purpose, so they're able to grow their company, and then their branding shines because they're there for a reason. I'm trying to solve a problem. Apple, I'm here for a problem. Where the other ones are, I'm here for the money. I made enough. I'm okay. I can't work any more hours. I already do 80 hours a week or more. I can't do anymore. So I have to stop. And I'm going to try to have this oxymoron work-life balance, right? They're trying to produce this fantasy of work-life balance and go on vacation while they're running their company, but they are it. They are the salesperson. They are the closer. They are the marketer. They are the service provider. They are the everything. And because they're the everything, as Tiffany was saying, they've lost sense of the purpose. If they had a purpose at the beginning when they began, they've lost sense of that purpose because they're caught up in the weeds, right? They're caught up in the whirlwinds of doing the business. And now they walk around and say, I'm a business owner. Well, rather than I'm the CEO of this company, they say, I'm a business owner. And so you hear it in the lingo, you hear it in the language. If I'm representing a company, when we came on the show, we knew that we were on ESPN. It was clearly stated. It all began. Mike introduced himself. Tiffany introduced himself. We came here and said, oh, we're here to have this conversation. We're just on a platform. You'd be like, well, who are you? Why am I listening to you? Right? There's no brand. There's no authenticity behind it. There's no support to why I should be listening to you. And so that, again, without going down a rabbit hole, in the purpose of a business and infusing that purpose, it has to be with the leaders, and it's just a reawakening. Every 2 years, I go through a reawakening because I get lost in the weeds. And it's normal. It's not that it's not uncommon. Everyone does, especially if you're a doer. I'm a doer. So I'm the type of person I like to get my hands dirty. I have to get my hands slapped by my team to say, stop, get out of there. Close the door, get out of that room. You don't belong in there. Go do what you do. And then it's back to having conversations. And I'm going to say one of the things that helps businesses to achieve this realignment, this refocusing of their purpose is have a mentor, have a consultant, have an advisor, someone who understands what that is. You've explained it to them. And now when they see you getting off course, when you're developing a new product, a new service, or talking about your team or revenue, they're going, wait a minute, it sounds like you're getting away from your purpose. Why are you building that again? And it helps to realign. Tiffany does that with me all the time. She's like, Carl, why are we building that again? What are you doing? And I go, well, because this. She's like, well, yeah, but you're building it for the right reason, but you're not telling me what your purpose is. And you know what it is, but you're not saying it. You need to realign with it. And we'll go through this whole realignment conversation. She's amazing at that. And I think people need to stop and reflect on that. And the secret is you cannot do it alone. And I don't mean to rain on anyone's parade. And I love the educational system, but in school they teach you that there's one right answer. There's only one way to do it, and they teach you to do it by yourself. Well, in the real world, it doesn't work like that. There is no one right answer, and you do not want to do it by yourself. You do not want to do it by yourself, and you want to have as much help getting through the process, because even the process to achieving the goal will change daily. Daily, that changes. So you need someone to kind of help guide you through that, help rebalance your compass to your focus so that you can drive in the right direction.
100%. Love that, Karlton. I love it. We are so aligned. But I got to ask you, because we're going a little over, so I'm going to ask a question here. Kind of important because we're having a course again on Thursday. What the heck are you teaching again, Karlton? I know it's called Purpose, the purpose of business plans. What are you going to be talking about? Just a high level overview. What are you going to, what can people come to expect? Like, when they walk away from this course, they're gonna
understand that a business plan is not only for capital raising purposes. That is a very short version of the business plan and its summary. And again, there's a reason why financial institutions want to see those things, especially investors, because they want to know that you understand not just you need to get from point A to point B, but how are you going to get there? Do you have the team, the knowledge, the wisdom, the capability? I was talking with an investor the other day, and his comment to me was, most times I don't care if the technology is built. I definitely don't care if that person has money or if they've generated revenue, have created some sort of traction. Do they have the team and the knowledge to execute? That's it. Everything else we can buy, we can fix with money. We can throw zeros on it. But if they can't execute, there's no need to move forward. And that is what a business plan is. It's what are you executing and how are you executing? And that's the most important purpose of the business plan. So when you walk away from the course on Thursday, when we talk about business planning, you're going to understand how this is relevant in laying out the execution strategy, so that you can plan and execute, not just plan, right? Business plan should really say business plan / execution, right? But there's so much I want to say right now. But at the end of the day, you're going to walk away with understanding how to execute it. So whether you're raising capital or not, you'll be able to understand how to use your business plan so that you can keep it a living, breathing document that guides you and your team through the growth of your company. And if you choose to stay a small business, kudos to you, that's fine. But at least you'll understand you've chosen that, but you'll exceed at your highest potential in that choice versus failing forward. As I talk about, you'll fall forward. You'll make mistakes, get up and keep moving. Someone says fail forward, that means close your business down and go start something else. Have you met people like that before? You know, they have a landscaping company and tomorrow they're designing t-shirts, and then the month later they're doing concrete, and a month later they're doing solar, Tiffany, and then they're doing this thing and they're doing that thing, and they're not executing on any of it. So execution is key, and it's all in the planning process. And that's what your business plans are for.
I'm going to say something, and I might get some rotten eggs here. I'm going to say something a little. So, I know some serial entrepreneurs that the reason why they're serial entrepreneurs is because they don't know what their purpose is. And that's why they keep shifting it. So when I hear what you were just saying, that thought just kept raising in my head. But we got to stop, Karlton. We could have a 5-hour show. No joke.
Sure.
We'll talk every Friday. And it's powerful and it's intense. But Karlton is going to be back, right, Karlton? I'm going to get this on recording. Okay. So now you can't back away. So We have so much more to share with you all, but if you haven't signed up for the course, you can. Your only requirement is we ask that you be an Empower People member, and you can join for free. There is literally no excuse. Just go to empowerpeople.org. That's mpwrpeople.org/join, and join at the mission level, which is free. Once you do that, you'll be sent a landing page. And that landing page, you can register for this course. And again, it's going to be on Thursday, which is September 26th at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Karlton is one of our Empower People advisors on our advisory council, and we're so proud to have him. Again, please register. There will be a recording. If you're not an Empower People member, you can watch the course, but alas, you will not be able to ask questions. You will not be able to be in engagement. You will not be able to have this enlightening conversation as we are having, Karlton and I are right now. So please, again, become a member. You, Karlton, last words. What would you like to share with our audience today?
Your purpose needs to be purpose needs to be the first thing that you put inside of your business plan. Most people start with an executive summary. You should start with business purpose. What is the purpose of your business? Once you outline that, then the summary just kind of summarizes what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and why you're going to do it. But if you don't have the business purpose, then investors, people who are interested in working with you, maybe somebody's partnering with you to do some of the work, they have no idea what your purpose is. And if it's not clear, that means you can't articulate it. And if you can't articulate it and communicate it, you won't have much support for what you're trying to accomplish. You'll be on an island of your own.
100%, 100%. Thank you, Karlton. Thank you, everybody, for joining the Evolve Together with Empower People show. You can find us again on empowerpeople.org. That's MPWRpeople.org. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And always be on the lookout if you're in the Richmond area for my car. Apparently, it is known now. Karlton hasn't seen my car. That's probably got him intrigued. So have a good one, everybody, and let's evolve together.